All right, man. Welcome to another episode of Respect the Goats, the live podcast right here on Clubhouse every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Hosted by my brother Phrase, my brother Spalls, and the Goat Talk Live family. I am the greatest debater, C.O.A.T.S. Shout out to my sidekick, Double XL. He's in hosting training, but he's getting better
So
every day, and I'm proud of
I'm a sidekick today. All right.
him. I'm proud of him, man. Shout out to a regular in the room, my brother 4/5. We got a couple special guests in the building. I'm gonna give a couple introductions. I'm gonna go over some household rules, and then I'm gonna give it the phrase so we can cook on this topic. Special guest, man, all the way from Richmond, man. He done interviewed every legend you could probably think of from the city. He even shows a lot of love to Hampton Roads. He been in the game for years. He been in the business for years. He got a podcast called the Randy Wilson Podcast, man. Coming all the way from Richmond, man. One of the legends, man. Shout out to Randy Wilson in the building, y'all. Another legend, my brother for many years in the music game, many years. A lot of shows coming to the city. You're looking real rich right now, brother. A lot of good shows. I think I might have to go to Duke Deuce show after I see him wrestling slam somebody today. It's crazy. Ticket sales is going up, man. Shout out to my brother G-Man in the building. Another legend. Years on 103 Jams. Years tearing up them crates. Out there giving y'all music. Started the first award show I know from the city that I ever heard of. Talking about the legend, Blindsville's own M. Blins is in the building. Regular to the room, my brother 4/5. And now we got a subject. Banks said some things, he questioned Virginia, questioning unity. I'm gonna pass it the phrase, man. Give you a little backstory. Then we're gonna open this discussion up, man. See how y'all feel. Oh, household rules, my bad. The rules. No name calling. We respect every opinion. Curses are allowed, just not at each other. Phrase, take it away.
All right, so today's subject, if for y'all who haven't seen the clips or who haven't watched the interview, Mav Hoffa has a great podcast, by the way. Shout out Mav Hoffa. He had Binks on there, and they got into some dirty water there. Essentially, Binks was asked, "Why is the talent in VA not more broadly known?" And he had a few different things to say. He said a few things about Missy, said a few things about Timberland, even threw Pharrell out there. Said Pharrell hasn't did a song with Chris Brown. Why is that? Said some other things about Missy, said good things about Missy, also has a great relationship with her. Spalls, I'm going to give it to you. I seen you was trying to cook earlier. Can't hold it back. Take us off. How you feeling, brother?
Oh man. Shout out to Vince and them, man. Shout out to Hoffa, man. But me, man, personally, man, my opinion, because it's not fact, it's just my opinion, because I sat in that room through a screen watching it on YouTube, and you know, I do agree with a lot of it, and a lot of it I don't agree with. First and foremost, yes, we may have been the first slavery state, this, that, and the third, but we can't continue to blame things on slavery. Um, I don't think a Chris Brown needs a Timberland, and I don't think Timberland needs a Chris Brown. Um, I do believe there is a lot of hatred, a lot of people that don't want to come together and make this thing happen as far as the music scene. However, that is a lot of the same thing going on in a lot of places. My total opinion is the local talent, the local artist, entertainer, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. Uh, First of all, for me, I think it doesn't people don't stay with consistency. Consistency is key. People don't have a strategy. I can reminisce and go back to listening to grinding for 3 years before it really took off. Like how to push a song. You have this hot ass song and everybody rocking to it in your city, but all of a sudden you stop performing it or you're not pushing it no more. It's just the consistency thing. And I think that holds a lot of the talent back on both sides of the fence. And it's a whole lot more. And I'm a penny back off of some of you guys that, give your opinion to this thing, man. So, Phrase, go ahead, man. Pick somebody else, man, because it's so much for me to cook with, but I just need somebody to push my buttons.
No button pushing. No button pushing.
Hey, Phrase, before you move on, I just want to shout out a couple special guests that just joined the conversation. Shout out to Prince Hakeem from Famous Radio. He was invited guest. Shout out to my brother Intellect in the building. Definitely a legend. He was invited guest. S Class in the building. Dre in the building, man. Go ahead, Phrase.
All Star, Double X. How you feeling on this one?
You sure you want to go to me right now? I'll go. Me personally, I don't feel like he said anything wrong. I feel like it's more to what he said. I personally believe that, and let me tell you, I got caught up in the hype because I listened to everybody's reaction before I had watched it. I said, let me watch it for myself, see what he said, because I know Bink personally. And everybody that knows me knows I view things in the state of Virginia a little differently than everybody else, and that comes from my personal experiences. But one thing I'm gonna say, he didn't lie about it being a lack of identity overall. Yes, I can point out groups here that have identity, but overall, if I had to put us all in a bucket, I would say the majority of us wanted to sound like Atlanta at one time, or a large percentage of us wanted to sound like New York at one time. I've always said that. And we fought real hard to try to put some pride into what we doing. That was the whole point of Rock the Mic and the showcases and going to the front of the stage when somebody I didn't know from anything was performing to show other people it's okay to show love. All that was on purpose because we understood what we lacked here. But my biggest thing that I feel like he left out is we do not have the infrastructure here. We don't have the infrastructure here. And that is the reason we haven't had an artist make it to the level that we feel like an artist should have made it. The Def Jam building is not here. Those things are not here. So in order for that to work, the artist that did get a shot would have had to purposely want to try to build infrastructure here. And that's a huge thing to ask somebody to do if that's not where their head is at. And you got to remember, we looked at these guys as on. Oh, they made it. Oh, they made it. Oh, they made it. I'll bet good money that they didn't see themselves as people who made it. They saw themselves as still trying to fight to be relevant for a certain time. So that's my viewpoint on it. I feel like he hit a lot of spots. But I also feel like the hate conversation is overused because I'm just gonna take myself for example. If I think of all the people that I know that did not want to come together, or what that not come together means, in hindsight, and I ain't trying to be funny, I don't feel like I needed none of them. But that's just me. So I don't subscribe to the hate part as much as somebody else would, and that's my take on it.
Okay, so I got a question to the room based on listening to Spalls and Double X. Let's say, let's look at it from the other aspect. Let's say they don't hate, but let's say they don't show enough love, because a sense of what he was saying to me is, in Pharrell's aspect, he never showed love to Chris Brown. Now, granted, obviously, he doesn't have to do a song with him if he doesn't want to, but at the same time, Pharrell specifically tried to bring something back, something in the water, try to bring something to his community. So from that standpoint, why not also do that with artists in Virginia as well. What do y'all have to say to that?
We also don't know if Chris Brown wanted to work with him. You can't put all that on for real.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be Chris Brown. How many Virginia artists have Pharrell worked with outside of
You know,
Clips?
Trey Songz. I don't think Trey Songz or Chris Brown have been invited to something in the water, if I'm correct. But Nicholas F was invited.
Chris Brown was there the first year on Sunday.
Yeah, he was there the first year on Sunday, and list the artists. Well, Pharrell put the clips on.
Right.
Family, he gave Family a shot. And in my opinion, you get two from your hometown a shot, you did good. But that's just me.
Hey, look, Randy Wilson, man, you coming from Richmond. A lot of us out here in the Hampton Roads. What is y'all viewpoint of the game? And then what was y'all feelings being that I guess Pharrell and Timberland are kind of from this side of Virginia? Like how was y'all viewpoint coming in? Because I know y'all had like skills, but outside of that, and I know Chris Brown might be close by living, but how does Richmond feel about the game? And how do y'all feel about the support?
You know, I think I can give an interesting perspective because I'm originally from Charlotte. I've been in Richmond for 20 years though, so I don't carry a lot of that trauma that a lot of people do because it ain't that deep with me. I mean, I love hip hop. You know, I'm not I don't get caught up with that division. I look at it from the standpoint that I don't even know why we ever or why there's ever even been a comparison between the 757 and Richmond because you talking about seven cities in one versus one. There isn't a comparison. I think Richmond is Richmond, and I think the 7.5 is a 7.5, and I think that there is a lot of synergy between the two. Just like there's areas where there's division too, but there's even we got division within our own communities. You know what I'm saying? So I think we
That's a fact.
sometimes I think we put more we give it more life than it really deserves. Um, I see a lot of 757 artists though in Richmond. I do on a regular basis, and a lot of people there give me love. One thing I wanted to comment on about that interview that I think stood out to me is, I think, Bink is a man and he spoke how he chose to speak. And I don't think he said anything wrong, but more than the words, more than the words, I felt like there was a lot of, I felt, I captured the feeling, you know what I'm saying? I felt like there was some feeling there, some pain. Like for whatever reason, what is the reason behind why he chose to initiate that conversation? I mean, talk about that or expand
Mm.
on that. Like because he's a person throughout his career, from my perspective, who haven't really been given his all his fair, respectful flowers. He's extremely decorated, and sometimes, when we start talking about producers, he may be down the list. I mean, I think he's highly decorated. So my thought is like, where did it come from? We seen that he was on the run. I seen him on stage with Benny Siegel recently in Philly where they were celebrating I guess it was
Facts.
the 20
Yeah, the
20 anniversary.
anniversary. Yep.
So I think he was out doing his thing. He made it a point while he was upstate to tap in with a few people, express himself. Something in the water is right around the corner. It's good
So
timing for it's good timing for people like us to sit around and have something to talk about.
So speaking of your point, are you saying possibly maybe because he also mentioned in the interview he was up for a Rockefeller management contract and well with hip hop, a management contract with hip hop, which managed Just Blaze and managed Kanye, and he turned it down. So do you think maybe being from the same city and same town as a Pharrell and Timbaland might be intimidating, or he might feel left out of the conversation?
I'm never gonna speak on another man as far as saying intimidation, but I definitely think that. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's not in the conversation as much as them, and there's to be, that's a perspective thing, on what people think. But I think that what he did from a content standpoint created the conversation that we have in today, and it's created the conversation that we're having in the state of Virginia. that we continue to have on this Clubhouse app about division. Quite frankly, I mean, it's like, so he just continued to further along the conversation, and it's bringing some attention his way. I mean, I think he did his job.
Understood, man. Appreciate you. Phrase, if you don't mind, can I red robin to the special guest, man?
No doubt.
All right, man. Intellect as an artist, man. Special guest Intellect in the building. Another legend. If you're able to speak, man, come off mute. I know, man, just chasing your dreams. You decided, at one point in your career to move to LA, man. Talk about a little bit about the experiences as an artist that's still active. You got a crew, you got everything, you got support. Just speak about how you feel about Virginia and how you feel about what Bank said. If you could talk. Okay, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you, Leck. G man, being a label owner, man, knowing lot of the behind the scenes working, knowing the business. What's your thoughts on this?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah, like I said, I got a lot of mixed feelings about it. Two biggest things that came out to me. The first one is the first thing that came to me is when he made the comment about uh the sound, basically like everybody kind of sounding the same. Or whatever. I can't remember exactly word from word how he said it, but somewhere around there. And that's something that I personally disagree with. Um, because I see tons and tons of artists. I mean, we all have, and um, I think we do got some real dope, talented people, on the R&B side, the hip hop side, all over. Um, and I feel like that was kind of misspoken on a little bit, um, on that type of a platform to kind of paint that narrative that a lot of these artists sound the same. My first thing is like, all right, well, who's bringing you whatever it is you listening to? Um, and where are you and where are you hearing this from? You know what I'm saying? Because I'll use like I'll throw Breeze Barker out there, for example. He just somebody come. Breeze Barker don't sound like nobody. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you can go with like Yolando's and certain other key names where I don't really feel like person that they sound like everybody else. Um, in regards to um, even to go a little bit deeper than that, going to the production side of it. Um, it's one thing if it's one thing if the production all sounds the same and then the artists are kind of catering to that same type of you know Kodak Black sound or the young sound or whatever. But I feel like when I look at Virginia, as long as I feel like we're so versatile. It's just a matter of who you checking for and what circles are you in, like who are you actually tapping into. So that one right there.
Yo, I can't hear you, G. Can anybody hear him?
Nah.
No.
G, you went out.
Yo,
You
yo,
was
can you hear me?
clicking too. Okay, yeah,
Can you
you
hear me?
back. Go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I don't know
back.
what that was. Yeah, but no, I was saying, I personally, I can't stand where everybody in Virginia sound the same. I don't see that. I'm outside. I'm out in the field. I got a great team around me that brings me different things or whatever. It's just I just don't agree with that. And I feel like with somebody of his stature to get on a big platform like that, that's one of the problems I feel like with all these years we've been doing this is that we don't have the opportunity to get on those type of platforms on that level to really paint a different narrative. Some of the stuff you were saying I feel like is dated. Some of it I feel like it's an old school way of thinking. You know what I'm
I can
saying?
feel
Not in
that.
regards to what's going on, not in regards to what's going on now. And that's one of the biggest issues that I try to fight the fight, but it's got to be more than me doing it. Where we all came up together, and we know the independent scene wasn't like what it is today. It wasn't that when we came in. It's grown. You feel what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact. That's a fact.
Through Rock the Mics, through what I've done, through everybody that's contributed to the, it's grown. So, and these younger guys, these young cats teaching me newer ways. That's why I got 16, 18 year olds around me where I gotta listen to them and readjust my ear and stuff. So it's changed. Like, so for Joker said it as all sounds the same, I can't side with that piece. The other piece is the the ones that came before us when we start talking about the Missies, the Pharrells, and all of them, yada yada yada. I think that we all know what it is. It's that again, the ladder was just never extended in a way. Somebody brought up something about family and clips in them. I always looked at it from a standpoint of the ones that made it out, that we say made it out. They took care of people that was already within their clique, people that was already in their ecosystem. I do feel like we missed the boat as far as being the new Atlanta or next Atlanta, because we had the opportunity to do that, whether it was through the producers or artists. I just don't think that either A, at the time when they was doing their thing, we didn't.
We lost you again, G. I'm gonna
Can
give
you
you
hear
a
me now?
couple.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me
yeah,
now?
you back. Yeah, you back.
My bad. My phone keep going on. My bad. I was saying that I think like when Missy and a lot of them was doing their thing as we were coming in, the independent scene wasn't what it is today. So I don't think they were really checking for independency to where we could have really been that next Atlanta or whatever. I think had they done that and had they, kept pulling, picking the right artists, whatever, then I think we'll be having a different conversation. But as far as in today's time, we we have to basically do it ourselves because all we have is us. And then that goes into a whole nother conversation where, to me, Virginia's clicky. You got certain people that mess with certain people, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But as far as us all being able to come together as one, I can't tell you how many roundtables I done sat at where you got the influencers and the movers and shakers and tastemakers all in one room. Nothing changes. You know what I'm saying? It's respect there, but nothing changes. So to me, it's just an ongoing thing. And I just think the only way that that's going to change, somebody has to break that wall and pretty much recruit and pick from here, but really make waves with it for us to see some real change out here.
Gotcha.
Other than that, I just think it's going to continue to be what it's been.
I
You know what I'm
I
saying?
I know
Because go
I know one. I know one thing you said that kind of stood out to me is based off of how the scene is represented. I think that's big. I think they
absolutely.
can. I think people that are out there that do represent Virginia can improve the representation of it, no matter what it was in the past. But I mean that could be a. I don't know what it is. I can't speak on it.
Yeah, because if
I'm
you
like,
think about it, yeah, because if you think about it in this day and time right now, the ones that's getting those type of looks are ones that made it out. When you look at what's going on now, who's getting on big platforms like that to be able to represent what's going on now? I don't see that.
right.
We
I
got we
get you.
got we got jokers that we came up under that's still speaking from what it was 10 years ago. It's
Mm.
no new voice to say. It's no new voice out there right now on any major
Hey,
platform
G,
to change that
G,
narrative.
hold on, G. 20 years ago, time
There
flies,
you
bro.
go.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. You feel me?
Mm. You
So
cooking
I'm
now,
just
G.
saying, but in today's time, who's that voice?
Who's gonna speak for
Who's that voice
that?
to say what's going on?
That's big. That's big, man. I appreciate you, G. Appreciate them comments, man. Hey,
Yeah.
Prince Akeem, if you could unmute, man. You famous radio zone from a radio perspective. How are you feeling, sir?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on the call, man. I'm loving what I'm hearing, and it's a lot of great conversation around everything. And shout out to G, man. You made some really great points. I will say, um, the sound is so vast. We have a huge basket of talent in Virginia. Everybody comes here and cherry pick talent. And I think that we need to have more pride in who we are and speak about that every chance we get. We need to stop looking up to the ones that made it out as our saviors. We can't do that anymore. Nobody's coming to save you. You got to save yourself. But
Mm.
somebody said it earlier. Is like, yeah, we don't have an actual industry. We don't have the infrastructure. But I can say right now on this call, we got the infrastructure on the phone. Every single person on here can do something to change that. I've been out here my entire life, and I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I can tell you, once you organize, you won't have any room to hate. People hate the things that they don't understand. And if you don't understand the business, of course, it's not going to look right. Of course, you're not going to do things that you should be doing and supporting something because you don't know what to support. Doing radio, I've been doing famous radio for over 13 years, and I started that for the artists, for the area 757, so they'll have a place to come and be heard and have their music played alongside side of major records and get interviews and get that feeling of what it is to be more than just a local artist. And even when not just my platform, but other platforms that came up after that, we should be supporting those 100%. We should be joining together on making sure that those things don't die because those are the places that people need to continue to push on. As an artist, is not easy, and I think if we're looking at a united type of thing, how we can unite. We need to start looking at who's going to be first or who's going to control it. It doesn't operate like that. I think people sometimes can get an idea of, well, if I don't have enough say so in it, I don't want to deal with it. We can never move the needle or the ball if we think like that. Everyone has a specialty in what they do. You link the puzzle pieces together and then you got a full picture. But until we can understand that and do that part, we're going to be where we are. Somebody said it, man. You think in 20 years, 20 years go by really, really fast. And no one in 20 years stopped and said, hey, man, let's uh, let's just stop the bullshit and just work together. Let me pick up the phone and call this guy. Let me pick up the phone and call this young lady. Let me pick up the phone and say, what can I do for you versus what you can do for me and how we can benefit from each other. Everyone's trying to get over into the next space by themselves, and you can't. I think people understand that, in order to make anything move, you need a team, and your team don't always have to be the ones you know. If anything, I think the comment that was made by Bing, he spoke from his standpoint and what he's seen, how he felt. I think he made a good point when he said that Pharrell, one of the biggest producers ever, and he makes pop music, he makes R&B music, he hip hop music. He never worked with Chris Brown, but somebody said it. Who says Chris Brown wanted to work with him? He may not had that same sentiment. Chris Brown probably come back and have a statement say, "I never thought about even working with Pharrell. Our sound probably wouldn't work together." But you just haven't had that opportunity to do so. I didn't take offense to it. I was like, "Hey, man, that's how he felt from his perspective." And then speaking from the side of artists sound the same, I have music submissions that come in and I could tell you, it's not always the case, but sometimes it is. You got people that just lost and trying to find their sound. And if we're not stopping them to say, hey, listen, man, I heard this before. I've already heard this, man. You got to come with something different and set yourself aside. We letting people just slide and do what they want to do. You're going to hear the same sound, and that takes more precedent of saying, "Hey, man, we got a different sound for different areas of different people. Where are you looking?" They should have a place where they can come and say, "Hey, man, yo, Prince, you play a lot of any artists on your station. Who's hot? Who's getting requested the most?" And that's how you figure out what the sound of the area is because that's the proving ground. You got a lot of places like that with some of the venues that hold things for artists, but I don't think we do enough of that. So that's just my 2 cents on that, brother.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, Prince, man. You was cooking, man. You said a whole lot there, brother. Said a lot of important things, man. Before I throw it back to my host phrase, I'm gonna open it up. I mean, we got S Class in the building. We got Dre that does production in the building. Both of those producers. My man Fo Fifth. Anybody else want to speak on this topic before I throw it back to phrase? Because he probably gonna challenge y'all with something that he hearing.
Yeah. Um.
Go for it, Dre.
So I was thinking, like, cause I live in Dallas right now, so even Dallas in Texas general, they don't have like a major outlet as far as like a major like a Def Jam or nothing like that. But it's a big music hub because they all independent. One problem is a lot of the artists out there in Virginia, they don't have the independent money. And when I mean independent money, they at least got to have like a half a mil. You know what I'm saying? So like, because you
Mm.
need money to break your record anyway, and to do promotion and all that type of stuff. And a lot of artists get lazy on promotion. They just think like promotion is just passing out CDs and flyers. Like, nah, your whole team got to be out there with T-shirts, big ass banners with your face on it, to like running like a damn presidential campaign. You know what I'm saying? So that's a major problem out there, and people be scared to do that stuff because they be thinking, oh, police ain't with that. Da 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 da. I mean, shit. If they stop you, they stop you. But other than that, you ain't bothering nobody. You know what I'm saying? So, and then like I noticed out here in Texas, they have like a coalition of DJs where they have the DJs get together, they have the promoters, artists, and producers all in one room at least once a month talking about okay, who's hot right now. You know what I'm saying? Like who do we need to push? And they'll do that once a month, and they'll have like at least three artists perform, and they'll check them out, whatever case may be. They might have a special guest that's already signed or somebody in the industry, and they'll rock like that discussing. Okay, how can we move this culture forward? So I feel like in Virginia, we need promoters, DJs, artists, producers, all in one room, like a conference every at least once a month. If you can't do it once a month, at least once every quarter. That's 4 times out the year. You know what I'm saying? So like something in the water coming is coming up. I haven't been to the first one. And I feel like that's an opportunity for like promoters and DJs and whatever to get together and throw events, throw like a showcase, like at least should be at least like 5 showcases down the strip. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the actual concert. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm going to
Hey,
South by Southwest in Austin next week. And that's all it is they'll have the main event and then I'll have a bunch of showcases that's on the strip. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that'll be kind of a boost when something in the water coming to town there, like the promoters that have showcases and you never know who might walk through the door, you know what I'm saying?
hey,
So all that
real
coming
quick, let me
together.
give a big shout out to G Man and Intellect for their involvement in something indie water, and indie is spelled INDIE because they're trying to do just what you're talking about, brother. My bad, go ahead.
No, no, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
fact.
yeah. Actually, yeah, yeah. I had seen that Intellect had promoted that at on online a couple days ago. But yeah, like we need like promoters, like a bunch of promoters doing that. And I feel like honestly, the community, like the community that don't do music, they're not involved with the industry, the music scene of Virginia. It's like they don't give a fuck. If you're not doing music, they don't care about your music. You know what I'm saying? So like people outside just don't pay attention to who they fuck with. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like your partner might do some music and none of his people fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a problem too. Like here in Dallas, like people who don't even do music, they a fan of the people in Dallas who do music. And that's kind of what we're missing in Virginia is the fans in the community.
I get you. It's a lot of work though.
Nah, for real.
And I
You for
I
real.
don't know where we getting that half a mil you talking about, but I ain't gonna ask you where Texas getting it from.
You know, I mean, it's just you we
That's a
know how
big
the
number.
game
Hold on,
we,
hold on,
we
hold
know
on,
how the
P.
game run. We
No,
know
but
how the game.
I think this goes back to my infrastructure, what I said earlier. When an area has certain things, you're more likely to have other certain things. When I say infrastructure, I don't always mean the Def Jam building. For example, Dallas doesn't have a music scene as far as big buildings either. What they do have is a football team. And that football team infuses 80 millionaires into their region. 80, which makes the hotel cost a little different, which makes the restaurants a little different. Pusha T said something about eating a what was it, a mahi ma or something from mahi ma, and that item became the number one selling item on their menu just because people coming in town want to know what restaurant mahi ma's is because Pusha T said it on the song. So those
Mm,
type of things infuse cash into and capital into your environment. So the fact that we don't have a sports team, the fact that we don't have a bunch of urban Fortune 500 companies, that hurts in a way. That's not the only reason, but I don't want that to be missed.
facts.
Yeah,
Big dog.
Go ahead, for
Oh, go ahead, go ahead, 4/5, and then class. I see you came on. Go ahead, 4/5, and then class you up.
Peace, peace. I'm gonna try not to make it long winded. I know everybody got their own perspective, but I think it's a couple things we're tiptoeing around. I guess the feeling is this. Two big words I use a lot of times is context and jaded. You know what I'm saying? And even me, because I know like XL and there's some other people that may have interacted with Bink at different times or whatever. I think this is the feeling. What Bink expressed was his truth and how he seen fit. But again, let's say context. There's plenty of reasons that you could point out that we may or may not know why, like a Pharrell. Let's say early in the career, we seen what happened with Chris Brown because each artist is a brand. So let's say once even the Chris Browns, the Trey Songz, and how they move as a brand. Pharrell or Timberland may not wanted to align themselves with that during that time when there was a lot of the chaos and whatnot. That's one thing. We don't know that to be fact. I'm just saying there's plenty of reasons. But I think Bink, what we trying to be respectful to his greatness because he's super great. He deserves way more flowers than he gets. But because of that, I think he's become so jaded. So now his opinions on things come from that energy. And I think that's what we felt. We were all kind of, dancing around saying is like, his this is like he's kind of almost embodying the same problem he's speaking on because this is probably the most we've ever even seen Bink anywhere. For a lot of people, this was the
Mm,
first time they ever even laid eyes on Bink. Pharrell by face, you can know Timberland by face. A lot of people. Most people, this was their first time laying eyes on Bink because he doesn't get that visibility. So now the time that you do get that microphone in front of you, and it was, he has a lot of rightfully so. He got a lot of chips on them shoulders, rightfully so though. But it kind of embodies the same problem with a lot of the people around here. You got to be more solution oriented instead of he used that platform to kind of spill a lot of his grievances. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of where the problem is within itself. So again, man, but again, like Double XL said, infrastructure is deeper than just a studio here or this or that. Law wrote like a big before Law passed. He got into it with a guy at college radio, and I got the email somewhere. I didn't realize this was the topic. I had to pull it up, but he wrote like a big long essay on what would it actually take for this area to blossom and bloom in terms of an infrastructure. And like you said, it's deeper than just the musicians, it's the athlete. It's just like a whole thing. So yeah, but anyway, ultimately, I just think people are either jaded. Even me, I'm jaded because of the things that I personally know in reference to a bank or whatever, or the things that he's went through. He's jaded in his opinion, as we all can be. And like I said, rightfully so. He got a right to have a lot of chips on his shoulder because he deserves way more props than he's had. That's it.
Hold on, let me throw that in there this right quick too for Phil, because you cooking. If we remove Teddy Riley from the equation, we don't have the artists we have.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If Teddy Riley didn't like the beach,
Yeah, I agree.
we wouldn't have some of these people we got. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And what I'm saying is we all kind of tiptoe because this is the thing. The same thing that Bing did on the Math Hoffa platform is the same thing that he's made. Like I say, he's constantly been overlooked. So the reason for mind you, while I'm not getting my flowers, now I can sit back and look at all the other grievances and discrepancies of why this one's moving like this or why this art is moving like that. Kevin Hart said this a long time ago when they asked him, is he responsible to pave the way for the next artist or reach back and do this? And he says, I really feel my responsibility is to the craft of what I'm doing. It's just to make sure I pay it back to the craft. You know what I mean? And in doing so, I'll honor, the people that came before me, or I'll look out for the next comedian and things like that. But my responsibility is to the craft. So yeah, man. That's just how I see it, bro.
hey, I appreciate that, man. S class. I know you wanted to cook. You came off mic. Go ahead. We're gonna go S class, and I'm gonna give it back to you, Phrase.
Peace to the space, peace, y'all.
What up? What up?
Long story short, short story long. I think, like everybody's saying, big experiences are his own. I think when he answered some of those questions, he going all the way back to the time when he was first, under Teddy, all the way through now, and then trying to find a way to summarize and answer that question to the best of his abilities with his experience from that wide ass time frame. I agree with what Double XL said as far as infrastructure and not just being limited to a building. I think a big handicap for us has been the fact of those who have made it haven't there hasn't been a large, I would say, expansion of knowledge from their experiences to help determine and dictate what that infrastructure should look like for a lot of people to absorb and then allow us to create what it is we can and should have already had by now. Something that Prince said about the pride, I think that's been something that's helped us and crippled us at the same time because we are prideful people here. And I think that everybody has always kind of had this itch to want to be first or want to be next. And I think with that being said, it's caused a lot of the cliquish behavior that talked about because I think it makes it harder for people to rally behind somebody without having a hand in the pocket in a sense. Like if you don't fully feel like that's going to benefit you, what is right for that individual or that brand or that artist going to be? You know what I'm saying? What is that going to look like for you? What's in it for me? And that with them factor, I think has held back a lot of situations. I think this shouldn't have been. I ain't gonna get into details of different situations, but I think there are a lot of situations over the past 15 years that had we had more of a unified front to get behind certain situations when they occurred. It could have brought a lot more light to our area on a national and international level. Like prime example, just out of thought process right then. When with Gifted Hands right now, I think with Gifted doing the track that he did and the way it's inspired people, it's almost it gave me the same feeling of like what Lek had when Lek had Bigger. And I thought to myself like, damn, wouldn't that be dope if that same type of unity, no pun intended, that same type of bond and that same type of push would work for both of them songs or both of them artists, or could they build and do a song with that same type of meaning behind it to go where it could have gone? Or and other songs and artists, I could throw darts at all day. But I think that pride factor got a lot to do with it because people would rather ride for their own than ride for what they could ride for and really propel the scene to a place that deserves to be. But a lot of good points have been said, so I ain't gonna hop on that too long. But I think those two things with infrastructure and unification have really been the things. As far as Bink, I don't knock what he said because again, it's his truth. But I think there's certain layers to that truth that could make it seem like it's a tainted opinion based upon different things that he said up until then. For a lot of people to look at it like, maybe he's just saying that. But to each his own. Truth is truth for whoever's saying it and experiencing it. So
Pete, can I jump in? This Leck. I apologize earlier, man. Can y'all hear me?
Nah, you good. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Phrase you up after Let.
Yeah, so look, man, my bad. I was missing a lot of the conversation, so I don't know what was said beforehand. You know what I mean? But I'm coming from the perspective as an artist out here, right? Been out here for damn near over like 16, 17, just trying to do this music thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, Again, I hope I'm not repeating anything that anybody said, but in all honesty, it's bigger than everything. Like, you feel me? Like what we're trying to do or trying to create or what we were looking for to be here wasn't even here to begin with. So if I look at a lot of stuff too, like historically, right? So in the 90s, a lot of people were trying to come up with this music thing and they were carving away, but it was still some social shit happening in Virginia where they didn't even want niggas on the beach. You know what I'm saying? So they had to carve through that at the same time come up with some dope ass shit. Like Missy coming up with dope shit, Tim coming up with dope shit. Amidst being niggas in Virginia. You feel me? So I think a lot of that historical aspect has something to do because while they were trying to carve a space here, a lot of my generation was like, well, help us out. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, damn, we out here trying to cut through this mountain. We ain't got time to look back. And we spent a lot of time looking at it like that. Like, yo, why ain't nobody really help us? So now that we've stopped reaching and we're looking around, we got work to do. So I'm not even tripping on, like, you know what I'm saying, anything that all the OGs may be saying now. Like, the time for real is within my people. You know what I mean? Like my generation or my class. I'm talking to the ones. I'm too cool for the streets and I'm too street for the cool. I be in every situation. I'm at every show. I'm everywhere. I'm in every studio session. We all say the same thing. The only thing that nobody is saying is, well, let's work this shit together. Let's meet the politicians. Let's meet the businessmen. There's people, there's millions and millions of dollars in Virginia, and there's a lot of people that want to help with the art. They just don't know who to talk to. And we're not talking enough. And that's what the Virginia Talks Different thing is. You'll run into niggas like in San Diego, Japan. They like, I'm from Virginia too. Well, you need to be loud like I'm loud, nigga, because this Virginia shit is crazy. We are the curators of the space out here. We make everything cool. And if we take it and then y'all take it, we flip it and make it even better. That's Virginia. We starting all of this shit. So the conversation, it really should be about, all right, we got, I don't know how many people in here, but how many resources do we have in here to make something shake? It ain't got to be an artist to break or anything like that. It's way deeper than just the art. Because if we stop rapping or stop singing, there will still be no entertainment or art infrastructure here. So it ain't the artist. It's a lot more deeper than that. And that's the part that we got to uproot. We got to figure out, how do we get involved with this council, this manager council system that we have in Virginia? There's 7 people on council, up to 7 people that we got to be able to get shit across to. This ain't like a lot of people say Atlanta, but the state of Georgia has funds set aside for their arts and entertainment. That's why when you see TV shows, they got the Georgia Peach at the end. That's state funded entertainment. And it just so happened to be us up there looking crazy, but we up there. So it's like
You
that. That's the
cooking, let.
stuff that, man, I'm talking crazy, dog. This is my time. You feel me? But I'm here to energize everybody because this is the type of conversation that needs to be said, yo. Like, it ain't the artist. You know what I'm saying? How do we figure out how to shoot movies in here? Who do we talk to shoot a blockbuster movie here? It ain't the artist. It's the politicians or the whomever. How do we block off Lynn Haven Road so we could shoot a movie with Mel Gibson? That's the entertainment that we strive to be, but we've got to be able to be the ones that be like, all right, you know what? Let's all loop arms and like push through this shit. Ain't no more reaching up or reaching over or whatever, bro. We need to reach around one another and make this shit go, yo, because 15, 20 years from now, I'm not having this conversation because I want my daughters to be like, yo, my dad helped build this festival that's now at the beach, or they help build this structure up in Newport News where we can have entertainment. Like, those are the conversations, bro. We can't keep looking at the past. That shit is, them niggas ain't help us before. I'm not looking for niggas to help me then. I got niggas on this channel right now that can help me now. So what are we doing now? That's the conversation. Those are the studio conversations we need to have. Or the boardroom shits that we need to have. You know what I'm saying? That's my piece on it. I'ma still keep pushing. We out here curating. I'm big on curation. I want to see something different in Virginia, and I hope y'all join me in curating what we need to see here. You feel me?
Theodore.
Facts, facts, facts. Appreciate you, let. Go ahead, phrase.
Killed it out here, man. It's hot. All right, so before we wrap it up with one last question, Pinky Ring, you trying to say anything? Your mic working?
I don't even see. There you
Can
go.
you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh
you
shit!
back.
Oh snap!
Your mic
Yeah,
works. Go ahead, Piggy Ray.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, yo. With everything that was said, other than that, I feel like it's a lot of low self esteem out here, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta raise the self esteem of the folks, man. Make them feel like it can happen, man. Do something for the self esteem around here.
Facts, facts.
Let me play off that. Do you think that the artists want to hand out too much as opposed to just going and go get it?
No, but I believe they don't believe they can do it, man. I believe that if people, when people can, when they believe they can do it, they do it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but you know, a lot of people they kind of look to one another, but it just tying into what you said about everybody just rallying together, arm in arm, man, and just figuring it out, man. Learning how to play multiple roles and you know what I'm saying, taking on some of the responsibilities of things that's needed and just creating them for yourself, man. And then everybody just keeping high spirits, man, and
Hey,
just making some noise, man.
can one of y'all? I don't have any powers. Dean was asking to speak earlier. I think we missed him. Can somebody please pull him up?
Who did you say, X?
Dean.
Done. Dean's in the building.
Appreciate that. What's good, family?
What's going on? Appreciate you, bro.
Man, I got love for Virginia in my heart. I'm in Atlanta. You know what I mean? I got love for Virginia in my heart. My grandmother from Virginia. You know what I'm saying? We do our family reunions in Richmond. You know what I mean? But I definitely respect the culture that's in Virginia, the hip hop culture, the music culture. And the biggest thing I say this about not just Virginia, but any community, is you have to build it, right? You have to build it. Yes, there is the Timberlands, the Pharrells, the Pusha T's, the Missies, whoever, right? But I want to use like for example, like in Atlanta, small example, um, A3C Festival. I don't know if y'all heard of that. A3C Festival started off as a block party. It was literally some college kids, the same way they did Rolling Loud. Started off as a block party in Atlanta where like 20, 30 kids was showing up. And then every year just started growing, started growing, started growing, started growing until it became a thing. Same thing with Rolling Loud. Same thing with like things like Do Say Palooza. You start that shit, like just y'all right here on this stage in this room. It's 12, 15 people in this room. If y'all all from Virginia, y'all create a meeting ground, yo, we gonna all meet up in Richmond one weekend at this, you know what I'm saying, rent a couple hotel rooms. We go to the conference room, we're gonna put the fucking plan together. Or we can get on Zoom. You ain't gotta get on, you ain't gotta meet face to face. We can get on Zoom, put this plan together. We're gonna start our own festival. It'll start small, right? It might start small in a theater where you only hold 1,200 people. Yo, we're gonna let everybody in. We're gonna build this thing up, right? And now there's gonna be energy around it, right? The people like Pharrell and the Timberlands will see it because there'll be people like, damn, how y'all not supporting this? How y'all not supporting what these guys doing? You know what I mean? Like, for example, I know somebody spoke to like Georgia having like the entertainment department in like the city and state. That just happened 10, 15, 10, 12 years ago, right? The city was not fucking with Atlanta and the state was not fucking with Georgia on nothing entertainment related. They were barely shooting movies here. They were shooting independent films here, like Tyler Perry was shooting his movies and stuff here, but they were still shooting movies in LA with fake backdrops of Atlanta. Just in like 2001, 2002. Like they pushed for that when they did like Fast and
Mm.
Furious and all those kind of things, and they seen that Tyler Perry and Will Packer was doing like movies for like $1 million, but they was making 40, 50 million at the box office. They said, "Oh shit, we gotta support this shit," right? To tell you the truth, the city and state of Atlanta and Georgia just really started supporting the music community 15, 20 years ago. Even though LaFace was here and Social Def and Grand Hustle and all the labels was here, they was looking at that shit like, oh, there's some black kids doing that shit. Even though T.I. and all of them was rich, the city, I'm talking about the governor, the mayor, I'm really getting behind it, like approving things, like blocking off streets for this and that. They would do shoot videos here. T.I. and them, like, then the police would show up like, how long y'all gonna be here? You talking about T.I. and Ludacris and them when they didn't sold millions of records. Police will pull up to the videos like, how long y'all gonna be here? Like, damn, bro, we got a permit. We don't care that y'all got a permit. Y'all gotta be out by this time. Like that kind of shit. So
Mm.
it was a fight. These niggas really these niggas really fought for this shit. You know what I'm saying? To get it. And I'm saying that to say, like, I know Virginia got talent, producers, writers, everything, filmmakers, whatever. I know Virginia got talent. I know it. Even when you go to shit like Howard University for homecoming, you meet the chicks and the people. Yo, where you from? I'm from Virginia. I'm from Virginia. Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? I know Virginia got respect. What happens is it's infrastructure. New York had infrastructure early because it's New York. You got Wall Street, you got this, you got the big buildings. LA had infrastructure early because it was Hollywood. Atlanta got infrastructure. And once again, Atlanta has an infrastructure. The state of Georgia don't. Atlanta is densely populated with black people. The state of Georgia is a red state. A lot of racist white people in the state of Georgia. So it's still like that right now in 2023. You goddamn drive goddamn at 1, 2, 3 in the morning on one of them back roads in Macon somewhere, they still might try to hang you on some real shit, not cracking jokes. Like for real. But Atlanta was, the other part is this, I tell everybody. Atlanta is one of the few cities where everybody works together in the whole entertainment industry. Like, oh, T.I. got records with Ludacris, and they got records with Jeezy, and they got records with Jermaine Dupri, and they got beats by all the producers, and the young niggas fuck with the old niggas, and Ludacris will go fuck with Migos, and T.I. go fuck with Young Thug, and you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas really work together. And then the executives in Atlanta actually work together. So Coach K
I
will
got
go
a
sit with, you know what I mean?
I got a question.
Yeah.
Do and it's for the more so for anybody in the room. Do we feel like because Hampton Roads in particular, not Virginia, because it's 7 cities, do people from here look as Hampton Roads as a whole, or do we see it as 7 separate cities?
I don't know.
From my
So
perspective, coming out.
I had this conversation. Oh, my bad, Phrase. Phrase, go ahead, bro.
No, no, go ahead and I'll
Good.
finish up with that.
Yes. So I had this conversation with somebody during Mighty Dream, and this might be me just being biased. You know what I'm saying? Just being from the area, but like I look at it like this: like when people consider Virginia, when you be like, "Yo, like I'm from Virginia," they refer to the 7 cities. You know what I'm saying? When you're like from Richmond, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, well I'm from Richmond, Virginia," or "I'm from the DMV," or you know what I'm saying. But most of the time, from people that I talk to, when they be like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Virginia," they're referring to the 7 cities area. And I don't know, that's just that could be super biased, but that's just my perspective too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've always told people like the 757 is like the mecca of Virginia. It's like we're Atlanta. If you really think about it, we got everything all in the 7 areas. You know what I'm saying? The 7 cities. You know what I'm saying? So I always consider it the mecca.
Me,
And
bro, I'm kind of like this with it. Being that I ain't never been scared of them bridges and tunnels, I look at all the 7 cities as one scene. But I know that itself caused division for a long time. Some people still with it, I guess. Some not so much. But that might have been one of the obstacles that cats really needed to overcome at some point in time. Because I still look at it like one whole scene. If you in Williamsburg, you 7 cities. If you in York, you in 7 cities. If
Yeah.
you in Churchland, you 7 cities. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all one scene. But I think a lot of people still hold on so much to their individual town. Like I can't let go of Norfolk. I can't let go of the news.
Yeah.
Like I think
Class,
that's more prominent.
that's bigger than just hip hop, though. Let me tell you
Exactly.
why. For those of you may not know, I was a history major in college, and one of our classes was based on geography and infrastructural geography. And my professor, when I tell you he broke down uh, why we don't have a sports team, even though we're bigger than areas like New Orleans, how does New Orleans, how does Memphis, how do places like this get a sports team? And it's because our area is built off, it's 7 cities. We don't have the county city makeup most cities have. Like, take up Baltimore. Baltimore City by itself is not big enough, but Baltimore City is within Baltimore County, which gives you millions of more people. We don't have that set up. If you know, in our area, counties and cities are differently, and that they're different entities, and that partly has to do with racism, because white people had to have a place to fly to get out of here when segregation came about. Well, it ended essentially, and they had to have a place to go. White flight. That's where all that comes from. And now you have an issue of where this area looks attractive for a team, but it's 7 different income streams from 7 different cities, and who's going to get the stadium? And who's going to house the team? And who's going to get this? And now you
Exactly.
start to talk about profit margin, which hurts our area. You trying to tell me if we had a football or a basketball team and we infused those millionaires into this region, it wouldn't have changed something?
Exactly, bro.
Hey
So look,
guys.
hey, Samandi, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to chime in. I see Dean from Atlanta. I'm back and forth between Virginia and Atlanta. Um, and like he says, like the infrastructure, like that's very important. And being employed with Patchwork Studios for 7 years now, I've learned that their impact as being a stable home for many artists, or the birthplace for many artists, careers, is why that there's such a prosperous music community. Um, and I don't really know if we have studios that last longer than like even 5-10 years, not too many. But I think that's a big foundation towards the music, is a studio. And like just like DJ Caree's studio, for example, like to me, what they do in the community and all that, you know is amazing. And we just need more of that, and I think that helps, with the
I'm I,
infrastructure.
I'm trying to understand something about the geography and infrastructure. I think that what y'all are talking about right now is a great point, and it plays into a lot of how all businesses work, not just the entertainment business. So when y'all say the seven cities, which I'm aware of, right, but how it's all interconnected, right? And you're saying like some cities, I mean, some places has like counties and all that kind of stuff. So what you're saying is Virginia, hold on, Virginia Beach is a city in itself, correct?
Right. Each of the
Yes.
independent cities are also the
Okay,
independent
I got you.
counties.
Imagine Atlanta, right? Imagine
Yeah,
Atlanta without the surrounding counties and trying to make the impact based strictly who lived on the inner cities of what's known as Atlanta. And
got it.
that, yeah, there you go.
Okay, cool. There you go. So, but they're all within minutes of driving distance. It's not like hours to get there, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
Everything is neighboring.
it's
Okay,
like
everything's there.
Lilburn to Atlanta.
Okay, perfect. Cool. So, and I say this because the young lady, she mentioned Patchwork, which I'm very familiar with, right? And it is a hub, right? It's similar to like when Diddy had Daddy's House and Rockefeller had Baseline and all that kind of shit.
Yeah,
What happens is that goes back to the community aspect though that I was mentioning earlier, right? The actual networking, the actual togetherness, the actual collaborative nature that Atlanta offers in its community. Period. Right? No matter if it's TV, film,
right.
whatever. And I think that if a group of individuals came together, right? If y'all said, "Yo, you know what? We're gonna start this out. We're gonna do our own thing. We know we got Pharrell. We know we got Timbaland. We know we got Missy Boy." Because even Pusha T, I seen that he started his own imprint or label or something. I think they did a deal with Def Jam. I'm not exactly sure, but then I remember when he first launched that, he was mentioning like, "Yo, I'm trying to build this for Virginia and trying to put people on from Virginia." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "Well, let me see what Pusha gonna do," because he comes from, I'm using him as an example, being somebody notable from Virginia. He comes from Pharrell. He's worked with Kanye. He has some true understanding of how this thing works. And my favorite word is infrastructure, right? So if somebody on this stage says like, "Yo, I'm gonna start my own label, my own production company," knowing the actual components you need to stabilize that before you even sign an artist. Do I got a digital team? Do I got a creative team? Do I got a streaming team? Do I got a video team? Do I got my legal team? Do I got this? Like now you built an infrastructure internally to set your shit up. And now once you do that, then you go out, oh, my man over here do this, but my man over here manage that. This young lady I know does that, and boom, 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 boom. And they all come to the table. And the real goal is to say this. And this is what white people do that we really don't do. I'm gonna use Scooter Braun as an example. We seen that Scooter Braun just sold his company for $1 billion to Hype. 1 billion is what he sold his company for. But in the beginning, when he managed Justin Bieber, he went from the management thing and rolled that, parlayed that over into the label thing, SB Projects, right? But everybody in that community poured into him, right? Nobody was like, nah, fuck you. I got my own shit going on. I ain't gonna support your shit. Everybody supported this shit. Everybody collaborated with his artists. When Ariana Grande was, coming up and she was going into the studios writing with people and all this kind of shit. And now it built up the valuation of what that company is and what that thing is, right? A lot of times, a lot of people want to do shit on their own. No, this is me. I'm the CEO. I'm the CEO. Ludacris taught me this. Yo, everybody want to be a CEO, and that's why a lot of people fail. If everybody needs to know how to learn how to work together, right? If you got the something in the water festival that's coming there, okay, how do we piggyback off something in the water to build our own shit? Now we know that's coming here annually. How do we piggyback off that to build our own shit? I built my own marketing company off the back of Ludacris doing Luda Day weekend in Atlanta every year for 12 straight years. That's how I built my marketing company. I worked for Ludacris. I started as an intern, then I worked for him, then I left, and then I came back to Jeff and Shaka and Ludacris and said, yo, I want to do marketing. And it started off like, yo, if you can get sponsors for goddamn Luda Day weekend, we got you. Cool. Then that I'm 10 years removed from that and I'm still booming. Right. But that was all because of the community that I had to go to somebody. I'm like, yo, let me get sponsorships for you. Right. So if you go to how do I participate in something in the water where I can actually benefit myself in the Virginia area? That's the example I'm trying to give.
Hey, I
I think
appreciate
that.
that, Dean. Hold on, Samani. Hold on, because I got a crew behind the scenes. This is a live podcast. I'm gonna let you rock it just a moment,
Oh
but I
shit,
gotta
my
wrap
bad.
it up because they are recorded. We already over time. I gotta let them go. But we gonna stay here. We gonna continue to cook. So let me just wrap up the podcast. We giving y'all too much game tonight, y'all. For everybody listening on Spotify, Apple Music, we giving y'all too much game tonight. Y'all, I'm gonna have to open up a Patreon for all this game. So we're gonna continue to cook on this town, talking these solutions on Clubhouse. You can find us on Clubhouse every Tuesday at 6 p.m. As you hear the game, you should be here. Also, download that GoVerse app on Roku TV and Amazon Fire Sticks. New episode of Goat Talk Lives are up there. Respect the Ghosts is every week. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music. We going to the after party, y'all. Y'all just got to join us. All right, keep cooking, man.
My bad. I didn't even know this was a podcast.
Hey, innovative, man. It's
um,
a
Me,
live
me either.
podcast. Hey, this going out to the people. Y'all dropping game.
shit. Well,
I
I
just,
think.
I just, I'm a head on out, but I just want to say respect to Virginia, respect to 757-804. Like I said, my grandmother was born in Richmond, Virginia, so it definitely has a special place in my heart. We do our family reunions there and stuff. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I
Dean,
mess with
look,
the whole
hold on,
DMV.
Dean. Before you dip out,
What?
before you
What's up?
dip out, we support show love in here, man. Give people your information about your company and how they could get with you, brother.
It's easy. Just back channel me. My company is called Culture House. You know what I'm saying? I manage Armani Caesar from Griselda. I just finished working at Interscope for the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Doing marketing. So I just play in the marketing and management space. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Um, that's the area that I work in.
I appreciate you, Dean, coming, man. We gonna definitely speak and get. I'm gonna get in touch with you, brother. Appreciate
All
you
right,
supporting
just
tonight.
back channel me. All good.
Gotcha.
All right.
Hey guys.
Go ahead, Samantha.
What's up? Just to let y'all, I'm gonna do a little plug. I have a mixer slash speed networking slash what the hell panels, and I heard y'all mention Bank's gonna be there. He's gonna be one of the speakers. Hannon, um, Keena, she works for Airwave. Allie, Perla Woods, and just different people. And it's called Something for the Creatives. It's going to be April 25th, and it's a collaboration that myself, Keena, and DJ Dirty Die and Kat Robinson have came together, and it's going to be at Prime 255. So I would definitely love everybody to come out, and it's free. So it's just everybody just networking. So just on the same wave that what's the conversation for tonight. And yeah, I think what he said that we need to start doing, I think that we already are doing. Like I see Intellect, showing some what is it, something in D indie water.
Yup,
Some
yup.
indie and something indie water, man. So
Yep.
yeah, it was just that. We here to create. It's time to create. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So intellect. I hope to see you at our event too.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm good for pulling up to everybody's situation. You know what I'm saying? So just to
Yeah.
piggyback again, if I can, Samandy, just like you said, something indie water. So this is our take on putting Virginia on the stage in front of these thousands of people that's coming to the beach. So we locked in with the homie Will from the music shop up in Richmond. So
Hmm.
again, this is the bridge that we're trying to create. We're trying to show that um that we're really in the mix with trying to put something together for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's bigger than us. Again, it's just the opportunity, but aligning with the ones that see the vision the way we see it. Because
Right.
again, it's no more reaching up. We got to reach around each other and help each other. So something indie water is our take on something in the water, but it's just Virginia. We've got submissions over at least 800 submissions for artists alone in the state of Virginia. And knowing we can't put everybody on that particular stage, but
Right.
this is the leverage that we want to take to be like, hey, look, Virginia's got a post. We want to be in the forefront too. We don't have to be on the big stage, but let's create an opportunity for us to be in front of these thousands of people that normally never come here. There's going to be media, national media, international media, businessmen and women, everything like that. So Virginia, this is our chance to really be like, if we're going to create a market or create an entertainment space, we've got to go down here where this man is bringing Complex and bringing Oprah, and you know what I'm saying? Let's go shake these hands and let them see who the liaisons of the culture is. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So something
Facts,
indie
facts.
water. If y'all want to get into the space, we're looking for sponsors, vendors, everything. Yo, this is really Virginia. So if we gonna talk it, let's talk it because I'm talking crazy this year.
Facts. That's
Hey,
what's up,
yo, let
Lex.
me jump in
Randy
on that real
Wilson, what you
quick.
got?
Yeah, I'm about to go in the gym, but I got some promo video coming probably this week to
Go for it.
support something indie water because I got up with the music shop. So Will and I did something on Saturday.
Yeah,
So
yeah, Randy, for sure, man, my guy. Yeah, and
I'm
if
already
y'all
on it.
aren't familiar with Randy, he's got a lot of stuff going on in Richmond too, man. So
Facts.
there's a lot of people in this room. Double XL, man. I used to listen to you on the radio, bro. You helped get me started. They like, so there's people
Mm.
in here, man. You feel me? Like we just again, we the old adage and conversations, man, of 15 years ago. Nah, yo, it's our time now. We really gotta,
Facts.
like Dean said, yo, we gotta step up and create something for the ones that's coming behind us. Cause that's what's lacking. So even if we're talking music, we're not even teaching the youth through our music anymore. We gotta go find that. When we used to turn the radio on, it was nothing but education through hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I learned how the distance between the earth and the sun from Wu-Tang. You feel me? So as artists, that's our responsibility too, is that we got to get back to education. Whether the
Facts.
entertainers are educating the entertainers, the businessmen and women are educating each other. That's what's going to help create this market that we're looking for, yo.
Facts. Well, look, man,
Right.
it's close to wrap up, man. I'm gonna go around give a couple other people the stage to say a couple things. G man, what you got going on over there, brother? I appreciate you coming out tonight too, man. Plug all them
Yeah, can you hear
shows
me?
you got. Like you got 80 artists coming to the city. Plug everything you got, man. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Every
man,
time I
nah,
wake up, yo, I new see a new flyer from you, yo. Golly, yo.
nah,
I can't
man.
go to all the shows, man. You got
Look,
all my
man, look, we
favorite
just trying to
people
do.
coming, man.
Look, we just trying to do our part, man. That's it, man.
Hey P,
Nah,
we
we
just
got
curating P. That's the thing.
that.
It can't look
That's
like we
it.
taking over, bro. We just want to put something in the area for everybody, dog.
Facts,
That's it.
facts.
You need to come. You gotta come join the squad too, man. That's all we saying.
Look, man, I'm gonna come outside, man. I'm a little older than you, man. I got a bedtime, man. I got kids. Go ahead, G. I'm sorry.
Nah, man. Nah, we got Rome Streets on March 31st. Griselda's on Rome Streets. We got him coming. We got Duke Deuce coming May 12th, Elevation. May 13th, we got Chartway Arena, the 90s day. I'm sorry, R&B 90s with Drew Hill 112, Silk, Soul for Real. Um, who else we got on there? Soul for Real, uh, High Five. We're gonna announce a special guest about next week. Who's on that? Um, I just announced Stove God Cooks from Griselda. He'll be here in June. So just trying to put on, man. Like I said, bringing this entertainment to the area, giving Um, a lot of supporters that support the Monopoly concerts, giving them opportunity to put them on bigger, better stages. So that's our way of really, really trying to get these artists um, to, to perform in front of bigger crowds, teach them how to take advantage of these bigger crowds, and help them
Facts.
build their resumes. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're trying to do on the G-Man Live side. Is for me, it's way more than it's way more than the money. Me, I've always loved live entertainment. You feel what I'm saying? So being able to put the shows on and also able to give back to these other independent artists trying to come up, it's like the
Facts.
best of both worlds for me. So just got that. Got a lot of new music coming. We've been cold as ice with music, but we about to turn that page. But outside of that, man, just continuing to do what we do, and you know what I mean.
Your phone and went out again. Appreciate you, man.
No, my bad,
Hey,
my bad, my bad. My bad. No, I was just saying. Other than that, that's really about it for real, man.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. G
You
Man
know,
Entertainment, G Man Live in the building.
yeah.
Class, what you got for us, man? What you got going on, man? Plug whatever you got going on, man.
It's about to be some dope music coming, man. I'm gonna be dropping this the first time I'm even saying this joint out loud, man. But those who know. But it's about to be some releases over the course of the next 12 months. I'm producing for a lot of different artists from all over the country, man. So it's about to be a lot of dope music that's coming out. Trust and believe. Some of these artists you know and talk to every day. Some of these artists you ain't never talked to or seen in your life. Just trying to keep the energy going. You know, last year was a good year with the the Pusha T placement. Shout out to G.O.A.T.S with the what do you call it joint. Shade 45 shook that joint up on the underground scene too, with the Young and
That's what's
Miko that I
up.
produced from out Houston. So it's been a lot of good looks, and we just gonna keep riding it throughout the year, man. A lot of dope joint coming.
That's what's up, class. Beats by Dre. Dre, what up? What you got going on? Plug what you got. I know you still got that project out there, man. Talk to him.
Yeah, man. It just reached over 100,000 streams. I dropped it January 1st. I
Congrats,
am
brother.
working on my second one. Appreciate it, appreciate it. I am working on the second production album. Intellect, I'm waiting on you, man. I sent you the beats. I'm just waiting on you, bro. But that's about it. I'll be at South by Southwest next week, and I'm heading to Virginia for something in the water. So I'll be out there touching the grounds.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Who else we got in here? Samantha, you wanna plug that event one more time? And I'm going to you, Pinky Ring.
Sure. First off, if y'all need some multimedia services, that's what I do. My brand's Artreach, ARTRICHE, and Artreach is throwing an event with collab of many great women in the 757 at Prime 255. Um, and it's going to be something for the creatives. It's a panel um, with experts and people in the industry, as well as networking, speed networking, all that on April 25th on a Tuesday, 7 to 10.
Appreciate you stopping by, Samantha. Appreciate all that wisdom you dropped today.
Oh, no problem.
Pinky Ring, what you got
Yo,
for him, man?
www.allgoeverything.com. Come see us for the merch. Come shop with me. Or if you need a spot you can vend at, come holler at me. Need anything creative created, come holler at me. Pinky ring. I'm out.
Yeah, your mic sound good today, man. You was trash for the last couple of weeks, man. I'm proud of you, man. Whatever you did, adjustments you made. Spalls, you still with us? Plug what you got going on, man. You still working on writing films and all that? Talk to us. He gone. Phrase.
Follow me on Instagram. It's phrase content coming soon.
I like it, man. Look, man, this is Respected Ghost. We here 6 p.m. every Tuesday, man. I appreciate all y'all for coming out. $M for in here listening. Mother the movement. You know how I feel about you. Double X. I know you busy working on some things. Appreciate you sticking it with me. We went over time a little bit, but we holding it down. Y'all please download that GOAT Verse app on Roku. and Amazon Fire Sticks, man. It's free. Go Talk Live is our television show. Respect the Ghost is our live podcast. We are here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Y'all have a good evening.
You too.